Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect.
Wagwan people, Lumanny here, back again with another episode of the Aston Villa save here on my channel. Now yes, I do have to apologise for the massive break in between videos. I've had other stuff going on that I've been doing. When I have been playing FIFA, it's been thunderstruck, so I've been completely ingrained in grinding menus every day. But we are back now, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more consistency about it. So hopefully we'll be back with a full return. Yes, I know a lot of you probably are bored of this by now, but stick with me. I'm sure we can make it interesting once again. So I appreciate you guys that have been watching throughout and re-watching stuff and all that stuff. You guys are awesome. I love you all. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. We are into the first game already in the Europa League up against Stade Reims. We have a very busy month. I think we have 6 games in this one, so a very busy month ahead of us. But starting things off in the Europa League, like I've said about the Europa League, I think it should be a competition that we should be able to win. I'm not going to get too overconfident and predict that we will win it, but we definitely should be up there and be able to get to the latter stages. See a couple bits of rotation here, Onana dropping in, not too much though. I still want to try and play as strong teams as we can. It's a European competition at the end of the day, so we want to show out the best that we possibly can, and we want to have strong performances and see ourselves through easily as well into the playoff stages. This one would start off pretty quickly with us winning the ball back from Stade Reims. Ansu Fati would get a lovely ball played into him by Onana and run straight through, with the Reims men not able to catch up to him. And within the first 5 minutes of the game, we would find ourselves 1-0 up, which is possibly the best start that you could ask for at home to get an early goal. It just puts you in a position of strength, and I was very happy that the goal was Ansu Fati's as well. Had a little bit slower of a start to the season than I was anticipating, but still a very important player for us, so it's nice to see him bag a couple goals early on. A long ball from Reims here just before half-time would be headed down by Koku, which was quite surprising. Xavi Simons would find a ball through to Mr. Reliable himself, Ollie Watkins, up top, who would tuck it away in typical Ollie Watkins fashion. He's been a little bit inconsistent in European competitions for us though. Last year in the Champions League he struggled a bit to consistently bag goals, but was absolutely hammering them in the league. But not that problem so far for us. You can see there Ian Matson was very tired, having only played 45 minutes, so he probably would have to be subbed going into the second half. The second half, Reims were a little bit harder to break down. They closed off some of the easy passes we were finding. They were pressing a bit more in midfield. As you can see, Xavi Simons having to be very patient on the ball here. We had to knock it around quite a lot, get the move in. You can see they're sat in with kind of like 2 banks, and then it was like a bank of 4, then a bank of 2, and then another bank of 4. But they were definitely difficult to break down in the second half. But we would stay patient. I like this from us. And then an absolute thunderbolt from Koku out of absolutely nowhere. I saw the space open up in front of him, and I thought, he looks like he's got decent shooting stats on him. Let's see if he can bang one. And bang one he did. This was huge for me as well, because it kind of unlocked the realms of, oh, we have a long-range shooter in the team now. So when we can't break teams down, if we can find Koku in those areas, looks like he might be able to score those goals, or at least make a problem for the defenders. Absolute thunderbolt from Koku. Maybe one of his first goals for the club. I can't fully remember. But yeah, lovely way to get our third goal of the game. Again, then after that, it was a lot of back and forth. Neither team could really break each other down. Poor bit of defending from me here would let Ikone slip through. It was a good bit of skill from Ikone as well, and he would run through to make it 3-1. So unfortunately, no clean sheet for us here at home tonight, but not a goal that's going to cause us too many issues in the long run. So nothing that we need to worry about too much. And that would pretty much be it for this game. Like I said, they're a lot more resilient, a lot harder to beat in the second half than they were in the first. We just didn't really get through them as much as we could in the second half, besides from the one Koku goal from range. But I'm more than happy with that performance. 3-1 in Europe at home. Would have preferred a clean sheet, but that's just me nitpicking, as I love to do so often. 3-1 in our first game of the episode, 3-1 in our second game of Europe, I believe it is. Nice way to start things off. We then would see a nice little newsletter here about Ollie Watkins' performances, which we already know he's going to be Mr. Reliable for us, like I always call him now. He is going to bag a goal for us if we need one. So that's why he's there. Going into our next game in the league against Luton, we would be in 4th place. The top 5 are kind of starting to pull away from the pack a little bit. There's still hope of 6th place being in the argument, but they are slipping back a little bit. I think they're 2 points down now from 4th, and maybe 4 or 5 from us. This was an interesting one for me, because I always say it doesn't matter where you are in the league on FIFA, your form doesn't always translate over. So I knew that if we were going to get something off of Luton here, because they play back 5 as well, I think. I'm pretty sure it was back 5. I knew we were going to have to get on top of them early and really take the game to them. So I was a little bit apprehensive, but we had rested a couple of guys for the last game, so we did have a very strong lineup to put out against Luton, and I was right. 5-2-1-2 for Luton. So that back 5 was always a concern for me, because if they do sit in, it's just incredibly hard to get through them. I'm not really sure how that's a 5-2-1-2, because I'm pretty sure it isn't, but you know, there was that glitch that we had before where it didn't switch over. Had to pause there because I actually think I ended up having shopping arrive. But like I said, I wanted to get on top of the game early here. Alfie Doughty up against his former side would go down the wing, cut one inside to Ansu Fati. He would try and open up some space, but would find Xavi Simons, who would curl one. Unfortunately, would go straight at Roman Berkey. But we would get on top of them very early on. Xavi Simons taking a shot, only 11 minutes in. Again, another good save from Roman Berkey, I have to say. As an older goalkeeper, wasn't sure what to expect from him, but he is performing very well, or did perform very well against us. We would swing the corner in though, and Ollie Watkins would be there to rise the highest and nod it into the back of the net 12 minutes in to give us the lead. And it was pretty much exactly what I wanted to do, exactly how I wanted the game plan to go. Get on them early, beat them down a bit more, make them work, and get a goal, and that is exactly what happened there. Not really sure what the man on the line is doing, because he stuck a leg out, but he didn't actually do anything to stop the ball from going in the back of the net. So, but fortunately for us, he didn't, because that would mean we were 1-0 up. We would just keep coming forward in waves in this game. A nice little ball through here from Xavi Simons would find Ollie Watkins, and Ollie Watkins would tuck away our second and his second of the game to make it 2-0 17 minutes in. And I honestly, like I said, I could not have asked for my game plan to be going better right now. Getting on top of Luton, not letting them sit in and frustrate us. Exactly what I wanted to do was happening perfectly. We were managing to keep them pretty penned in. Koku would pick up the ball here. He would find Xavi Simons, who would roll one around the corner to Ansu Fati, and Ansu Fati would make it 3-0, within 25 minutes. Sorry for all the pauses. I had various things going on that I had to keep pausing to go and handle before I could continue playing the game. But yeah, 3-0 in 25 minutes. We're pretty much, at this point, I felt pretty confident that we were going to walk away with all 3 points. A strong start, a quick start, and it wouldn't be over yet, because in the 44th minute, Luton would start pushing out. They would start frustrating us a bit more. A couple passing moves to get through, but they would mess up on their passing moves. Go straight to Xavi Simons. He would find Leon Bailey, who would play through Ansu Fati, and Ansu Fati would make it a double brace, Watkins and himself, to make it 4-0 before we've even reached half time. And in all honesty, at this point, I sat back in my chair, I slumped back, and I said, game over, let's get this one finished, because I was almost certain that there was no chance that Luton were going to come back. Like I said, maybe I was being a little bit too optimistic on Luton's half that they would trouble us, but yeah, they really didn't for a good majority of this game. See here in the 50th minute, we picked the ball up with Ansu Fati again. He would find Xavi Simons, who would manage to cut inside, but no, actually would reverse pass to Ansu Fati, who would hammer in the third to give himself a hat-trick. He may have had a slow start to the season, not really getting the goals or the assists that I was hoping he was going to get. But I couldn't have asked for more for him to step up and really show himself as he did in these first two games. A hat-trick in this game, a goal in the game in Europe. It was a pretty big performance from Ansu Fati in our first two games of this episode. Luton would then start to squeeze us a bit more. Again, a bit of a defensive error from me here. I just didn't mark the run of Morris. Emi Martinez, you could argue, should maybe do better with the save, but he got what he could onto it. Ends up deflecting it across, and I can't remember who tucked it away. I think it might have been Preciado, who I think is their right wing back, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I don't know if I left it in. I did. So it is Preciado. He makes it 5-1. Again, disappointing not to get a clean sheet. We would break forward late on here. Leon Bailey rolling the ball across to Ollie Watkins. It would get deflected, and then a long shot here would get deflected over the bar from Kobbie Mainoo. Then the last minute corner would swing one in. However, unfortunately that would go over, so no hat-trick for Ollie Watkins, but it would be a 5-1 win for us. Another 3 points on the board in the league to keep us in the race for that top 4 spot. It was a dominant performance from us overall. There's not really too much to say about it. Luton didn't really have much of a kick in the game. We did exactly as I asked us to do. We went and took it to him early. Yeah, there was not much to say. Nice performances overall from most of the team. Disappointed not to get the clean sheet, but that's minor. You can see here we are up into the second now. Arsenal so far have only taken 1 loss this season, so they are going to be the ones to beat. 3 games left in this episode, as we see one of our young lads confirming a loan for January as well, so he will go on loan in January. Nice little graphic here for Xavi Simons. 7 assists in 7 matches, 1 assist per game. Was nice to see, and then also nice to see 2 of our former players, Moreno, who we didn't plan on using because of his wages, and Ross Barkley, both performing well at their new clubs, getting the plaudits from the fans. Very nice for them. Then we had what I expected to be probably one of our biggest tests of the season. These are the kind of games that if we are going to contend for the top 4 and maybe even for the Premier League trophy, we need to be able to go away to places like Chelsea, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, City and get results. Even if that's just a point, I would prefer all 3. But I was expecting this to be a very tough game. Then I saw that they had that Fofana up top, and I thought it was a bit weird because Nicholas Jackson was on the bench. So I'm not really sure why they were playing Datro Fofana up top. Maybe they played more recently than us, but I didn't think so because I'm pretty sure it was an international break before this. We had our best team available to us. I have been using Alfie Doughty more than Maatsen, purely based on the fact that I like Alfie Doughty's passing range, and if he does get in those crossing positions, he is lethal at putting crosses in. Acosta here would start off with the ball, but a risky ball across the field would see us pick it off. Watkins then will roll one through to Ansu Fati, and 6 minutes in again, a early start from us. A mistake from Acosta, we do manage to head it down, and we take full advantage of the counter-attack afterwards. Watkins with a pretty nice bit of hold-up play, rolls it in to Ansu Fati, and Badiashile in the middle just never had a chance of catching up to get a block in there. Good defender Badiashile, but not got the most pace in the world, so he was never really going to manage to recover in there. 1-0 lead, Ansu Fati with another goal in this episode, I believe his 5th goal of this episode. So this is a standout Ansu Fati episode, at the moment at least. Leon Bailey would then cut inside, been a bit quiet himself, would lay it back off to Watkins, but it's a poor strike from Watkins in the end, goes straight at Sanchez. Wagnerman then would send us forward, manages to hold on to the ball quite luckily there. That is a great spin there from Xavi Simons to control it, close range like that, spins on the ball and then tucks it in with the outside of his foot, which I've realised the Trivela shots are something that Xavi Simons seems to be a massive fan of, so we're definitely going to have to probably look for them. But look at this spin here to control that, just keeps it away from the centre back as it gets rolled in. Sanchez doesn't come out fast enough to close it down, outside of the foot, tucked away. Xavi Simons makes it 2-0, and we are feeling pretty confident at Stamford Bridge up until Cole Palmer gets himself on the ball, plays a ball in to Christopher and Nkunku, and then Nkunku would slide it home. This was fully my fault defensively. Christopher and Nkunku, I just fully believed that he was committing to that near post shot there. So you'll see on this bit defending, good pass from Cole Palmer there. I just thought he was going near post there, so I made Pau Torres commit to that side, and then he ends up going central and tucking it in the far corner. Fully my fault. You can't blame Pau Torres for that at all. Great cross in the second half here from Leon Bailey onto the head of Ollie Watkins, but it was saved well from Sanchez. Chelsea would then start getting a bit more offense for themselves, which was making things tough for us, but we would then find a great ball through here from Wagnerman to find Ollie Watkins, and Mr. Reliable once again with a goal when we need to stop Chelsea's pressure. 3-1 to us now away at Stamford Bridge. Pretty huge from us. I didn't expect us to be able to put away 3. When I saw I got 2, I was kind of expecting that would be the end of our goal scoring, that we'd try and grind it out, but 3-1, huge from us. We would then take a lot of control of the ball, kind of just play things slowly because we didn't want to push too much. We would then find a late attack. Xavi Simons rolls it into the path of Ansu Fati, and Ansu Fati once again tucks away to get his 6th goal of the episode, his 2nd goal against Chelsea, and our 4th against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And I was saying, we need performances away from home against the big clubs that are going to be pushing up for this top 4, against the clubs that should be competing for titles. And this is a huge statement victory from us, I would say. Obviously, by this point, you know it's a victory. A late overhead attempt from Xavi Simons rolls wide. But yeah, these are the kind of results that we need to be getting if we're going to be up there with the big boys. And this is a huge marker for our season as well. Though it's early, I don't want to overstate it too much. Being able to outplay Chelsea at home, that is pretty big for us to show that we're clearly at that level that we can compete with these sides now. And maybe even more than to show anyone else, maybe just to show me that we have got the personnel to do that. You can see now the top 4 are starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. So it's looking like a 4-horse race for this title. Arsenal still holding strong with only the 1 draw as the blemish on their record. It's going to be a tough season, especially if we're going to try and go after the Premier League. Like I say, I think we're 9 games in at the moment. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because there's likely to be a stumble at some point. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we're definitely in the conversation at least. So that's nice. We have to take that, and hopefully we can push on and build on it. We then do head back into the Europa League with a game against Legia Warsaw. I did make a lot of rotation in this game because we have got West Ham to finish the episode off, and that's our last game. So I wanted to keep fresh legs because West Ham were, I think they were pushing for maybe 6th, so they were up the right end of the table, and I thought we realistically should have the strength to be able to see off a team like Legia, even with a 2nd string side. Also being at home, we definitely should be able to perform well enough to get points off of Legia. We would start things off quickly once again. 5th minute, we will roll through Price here, the young man. He would go through, hit the inside of the post, and unfortunately can't get his own rebound to put that away. Legia would try to come forward, but we would nick the ball off of them. Ollie Watkins find Rio Hatate. He would go back to Ollie Watkins. Watkins would roll it through to Jackson Price, and the young man Jackson Price, the young Aussie, who we called up and said that he looks like he could be a big part of the team, gets his first goal for Aston Villa. Massive contribution from him to start this one off. It was a nice bit of play as well, to win the ball back, roll through Ollie Watkins. Watkins holds it up nicely for Price. I did want to go for the shot initially with Watkins, but the man was coming across. There's too much space for Price not to be able to hit a shot. I didn't think it was going to go in, if I'm 100% honest, but that's just because I wasn't rating him, and I probably should have been. But again, a lot of this game was us winning the ball off of them, hitting them on the counter with their back three. Rio Hatate tried to roll this one through. Made a bit of a mistake with the strength of the hit, but Watkins would win it back. It would get rolled through to Mbuemo, and then Mbuemo would hammer one into the back of the net as well. Nice start for us. 2-0 up. Well on our way to a positive result in the Europa League once again. Can't complain about how we're starting games at the moment. We are starting off very quickly, holding possession well. You can see we had a lot of different options to pass to as that ball went through there to Brian Mbuemo. So yeah, the team is playing well at the moment. Flowing moves, everything's going well. And that would continue into the next move. We would win the ball back, find a nice little pass through to Price, who would bag his second goal of the game. Second goal for the club. The young man showing up big in this one, definitely trying to make some sort of a statement to be in and around the team. And to be honest, with how he was playing, he didn't feel out of place whatsoever. Obviously, like I say, I know it's Legia Warsaw. We can't get too overexcited about the level of competition that we're playing. But for a young player out of the academy to still come in, get 2 goals in his first start in the Europa League, you have to give him his props, and you have to say it's probably enough to earn him a little bit more time coming off the bench. We would then try and go through again here, but it would get intercepted. Hatate, though, would close down well and then find a ball to Ollie Watkins, who would hit it on the spin. And I'm going to say the nickname again just because I love saying it so much. Mr. Reliable with another goal for us. 4-0 up now, I believe it is, over Legia at home. More than certain that the points are wrapped up in the Europa League, and that makes us undefeated in our start in the Europa League. Wouldn't say that we've had a big test as of yet. Jackson here would go through again, but it would get saved first time. We would then manage to win it back in the box to Ollie Watkins. He would roll it to Jackson again, and on the third attempt, the young man would bag a hat-trick in the Europa League. Big introduction to the team. Not really an introduction to the fans, because obviously the fans have seen him a couple times off the bench. Wouldn't say there's been anything bigger than a hat-trick in the Europa League, though, in his past so far. But yeah, there you go. 3 attempts it took him, but he did tuck it away, got his hat-trick. Very nice for him to wrap that up. John Duran then would come on, find Rio Hatate here, and he would put in another one. And at this point you can see that things have turned into almost us just playing for fun. All the boys getting involved as much as they can, knocking the ball around, good movement. But it's a nice little bit of play from John Duran. He gets the ball into his feet, holds it up well, waits for the run of Hatate, and then he powers one in very nicely. Makes it 6-0, but that wouldn't be where our goal scoring would end, as Mbuemo would go through, curl one, would get saved, and then Jackson Price, the young man who's making a big name for himself already in this game with 3 goals, would tuck away his 4th, and now I thought that was an awesome shot. Jackson Price pointed to the crowd going crazy. 7-0 up in the Europa League at home. It's an absolute party atmosphere right now. Huge game for us. Building on the confidence that we already have from our performances in this episode. I couldn't ask for more, and it wouldn't even end there. As Price would pick up the ball, find Mbuemo, he would find John Duran in acres of space, and John Duran would get himself a goal to make it 8-0. And things, as you can see here, are just getting out of hand. I thought I'd just let the music keep playing just to prove just how crazy things have been for us. And that would be it, 8-0. Jackson Price, 4 goals for himself. Absolutely huge performance from the team overall. Can't ask for more, really. There is nothing I can complain about. Clean sheet, 8 goals, flowing football. Like I say, it is Legia. you can't get too excited about what it means for us going forward, but it's nice to get big wins like that, and it would be a huge confidence builder for us for the rest of the episode. Danso and Torres here would have some training that we would just apply, not quite on pluses in their roles yet, but they have got just pluses. Kamara saying that he's happy with being in the team because he thought he may be getting replaced, and you can see we are running away with the Europa League right now, not on points but on goal difference. 16 goal difference. The next closest behind us is AC Milan on 5. Absolutely huge from us in the Europa League right now. Definitely looks like a competition that we're going to be competing for, and I'm more than happy with that. If we only won the Europa League, that would be a good season for me, but the league is going well for us as well, and we would have another stern test, I would say. I would say that I thought after the Chelsea game, I thought we would have enough to be better than West Ham, but you're never 100% sure. We would have a very strong lineup going into this one. As I said, I rotated a lot of players to make sure that we had a strong lineup going into this game, just so that we didn't accidentally slip up based on the players that we had in the team. Ansu Fati's been performing absolutely amazingly at the moment. Ollie Watkins, obviously, Mr. Reliable, as we always say. He's always there for us. West Ham's team, Bent Leno in goal, Mavropanos and Zuma at the back. Also had Di Lorenzo, and noticed Potts in the midfield was a little bit strange for me. But Cody Gakpo up top was something that a player that I was definitely keeping an eye on. There could be someone difficult for us to handle, so we definitely want to keep an eye on him, with Mohamed Kudus being able to link up the play. Josh Fragman early on 12th minute, it's quite early, would manage to get down the wing. He would find inside Koku. Koku would go to Xavi Simons, and Xavi Simons decided to show he can also hit the ball from range, and with good precision as well, firing one into the top corners. I've been calling for probably the last 2 episodes for more production from a goal scoring standpoint for Xavi Simons. Obviously we know he's getting an assisted game, we saw the graphic earlier on, but as that camera, sorry I had to take a little breath there, as that camera I definitely want to see more goals from him, and it's not quite as impressive as Koku's earlier on, but just outside the D, fires it into the top bins. Another good start for us in the game. This is what I like to see. I like to see these good starts. I like to see us on the ball, controlling things. Koku here, I was really tempted to just pull one. Ansu Fati would dribble through, but it would get deflected around the post. But we were pretty much in control most of this game. West Ham not really threatening us. Went for a long ball with Doughty there to try and switch it, but Fran Garcia would pick it up. However, we would manage to get it back off of him, and Leon Bailey showing good strength. Koku picking it up again. Really being a menace in that midfield, linking up well with Xavi Simons. He would get fouled by Somerville, who was trying to recover, and we would pick up a free kick. Now, I didn't know if we had anyone who could take free kicks. Then I looked at Koku's stats, and I was like, okay, he's got decent stats. I usually lay these off, but I thought, let's hit it with Koku and see what happens. And oh my god, Koku does not let us down. Another beautiful goal from him in this episode. Now 2 absolute stunners for us. Great free kick over the wall, gets it down just in time. Probably the first free kick we've actually scored in this save. I'm almost certain that is the case actually. But we do have a free kick taker finally. I've not really had one in my teams because it's not something I usually look for, but he's got very good stats, and you can see it's a very good free kick. Leno can't get across to it, absolutely no chance. 2-0 up, and we're cruising once again. Get a dangerous throw here, and Buemo would lay it back to Koku, and he would hammer another one. This one just inside the box to get his first brace as an Aston Villa player. And a big performance from Koku in this one to put us 3-0 up and pretty much guarantee that we're walking away with 3 points once again. Obviously we have seen in the past that I have fallen apart with big leads, but with this team I have to say that I'm feeling a lot more confident that they can hold on to things, they can see results out. We get a late corner on here after making a couple subs. Brian and Buemo's going to float one in, and Danso at the near post, as we know he can do. I think he scored 2 goals for us, maybe last episode or the episode before. hammers one home to get himself another goal for the season and make it 4-0 in a game that I was slightly concerned about us giving us a bit of trouble. About the game giving us a bit of trouble. What I just said didn't make any sense. Turns out to be giving us no trouble whatsoever. We were absolutely rolling in this episode. I don't know what got into the food at Aston Villa, but my God, were we rolling. Every team that we came up against, they just didn't have what it took to match up to us in any way, shape or form. 4-0 up. Cruising, looking like we're going to take this one easily, and from kick-off we press once again. That was a foul there for sure, but they keep playing on. Kamara would nick the ball back, he would find Ansu Fati would roll it into John Duran would go around his man, and John Duran would make it 5-0, just rubbing a bit more salt into the wounds of the West Ham fans that have travelled up to Birmingham. But we have to get as many goals as we can. We need that goal difference, especially with how well the teams around us are performing as well. And that is another absolutely massive performance from the lads. Huge performance from the team. West Ham, late on in this one, would finally find the ball to Mohamed Kudus. He would find the ball to Cody Gakpo, who I thought could be trouble for us. Does turn out to be trouble for us. Unfortunately, we don't get a clean sheet. 5-1 in the 91st minute. But that would be all that was to be said for this game. We've had a late couple of opportunities, but nothing really solid. And that would be another 3 points. 5-1 again. Disappointing not to get the clean sheet, but really not something I'm concerned about when we're putting 5 goals past our opposition. Another 3 points. We actually might have to start shifting our focus to that we may need to start admitting that we could contend for the Premier League title this season. Still very early doors. I don't like to blow things out of proportion too early on. I don't like to get too far ahead of myself, but I think we have got a team that can definitely perform with some of the best. I think we'll need to see next time we play City, next time we play Arsenal, how we can do in those games. But at the moment, we're looking odds on to be able to compete with those sides. Again, another article about Watkins and how big he's been. We would then move on to a bit of youth scouting, as we tend to do at the end of our episodes, which allows me to ramble a bit more. I know I've been inconsistent with uploads on this one. I did fall out of playing the game a little bit while I was doing other things. Sometimes that just happens. I hope you guys are still willing to stick with me and get behind the series and the episodes. I've appreciated all the love you've given it at the beginning of this save. I'm going to get back on it. I'm going to try and get some more episodes recorded. So hopefully we'll be back to somewhat, I'm not going to say regular because I don't want to make that. Commitment, but a semi-regular schedule. Especially now Thunderstruck has stopped as well. I probably will be playing Ultimate Team less, which will give me more time to commit into career mode. But yeah, call up 2 prospects here of Lovric, who is a goalkeeper, 16, only 6 foot at the moment, so a little bit sus. Juranovic as well, he is 6'5" at 16, so I'm hoping he's going to be a pretty big one for us. I would like to get a couple of these goalkeepers trained up and available for the first team. Last year, youth team goalkeepers did not go down well for us whatsoever. So I'm hoping that they're fixed a bit more in this year, and that they will actually be usable. As we take a final look at the table, you can see we are right up there with both Brighton and Arsenal. Liverpool a point down, but you can see the gap now, 14 points to 22. It's looking like the top 4 are already pretty much locked in 9 games in, and the competition is going to be between us 4. But that is going to be the end of this one. Please subscribe, turn on the notification bell to get notified when the next episode is available, and I hope to see you in it. And don't worry, it won't be long. Peace.